Hi guys, I'm Dave in Osaka and we're here in Osaka, Japan. And I'm coming to you from the Essential smartphone. And we're using a 360 camera here. And I'm here with Nobuko Oribe, who is the director of Oribe Industries. And they create nuclear bomb shelters. So we're going to go for a little tour of a nuclear bomb shelter here in this model home. So let's go. So as you can see, it's a pretty narrow space here. Got to put our slippers on.
Slippers. Okay.
So first thing you notice here is the door. You can see the thickness of it. How thick is this door?
この厚さはどれぐらいですか
20センチあります。
20 centimeters. これも鉄筋いっぱい入ってます。
中に鉄筋が入ってます。
There's special concrete and there's lots of rebar in there.
Rebar.
Tons of rebar and it's really heavy.
How much does it weigh? How much does the door weigh?
どれぐらい重さはどれぐらいですか
重さは1トン少し以上ありますね。
Over 1 ton.
スイスではこれに航空機ぶつけて実験してます。大丈夫です。
So it was tested in Switzerland. It's made to like an international standard.
Okay.
It's kind of easy to close by yourself, I guess. It's too big. And this is waterproof. It's only both ways. Gas.
これで密着させて密閉します。
Okay. So closing this will seal it up and make it completely waterproof, and it keeps out toxic gases and all sorts of horrible other things.
外側は1200度で1時間温めてもここ3度ぐらいしか上がりません。火災でも大丈夫
Okay.
です。
So the outside of the door, even if it's
1800 degrees up.
何度
1200度。
1200 degrees Celsius.
It'll go 3
It'll only
degrees.
rise 3 degrees Celsius on the inside.
I see.
で
So it protects from heat as well.
半分の大きさでだいたい10トンの圧力に耐えます。
もう一回ごめんなさい。
この半分の大きさでありますね、1平方メートル。これで10トンの圧力に耐えます。
Okay, that
It can
can
take
take
10
a
tons.
blast of 10 tons.
10 ton
Only
blast.
if it's only half the size of this.
Wow.
Wow.
で中に入るとここで食料とか水とか備蓄するんで
This
す。
is where we keep the food and the water.
だいたい2週間分の食料を備蓄しておきます。
Okay, if you guys look behind me, or I'll actually move, you can see there's about 2 weeks of food, she said, that you can survive on. And for how many people is this amount of food?
これ何人分？
一応8人、ここのシェルターは8人分ですけど少し足りません。
8 people, but not enough for 8 people.
What if you're a hungry person?
Yeah,
like me and
depends.
Dave.
お腹空きます。
Yeah.
So 誰か選んだ？
適当ですね。
適当。Yeah, roundabout we went
た
shopping.
だビタミン C とかね、そういうものはもう不足するので食べておきなさいという指導がありますね。
Okay, so you get things that you might run low on vitamin C's and what's that one? Baby powder, essential.
そうですね。
What other things do you recommend, or what other products?
おすすめは虫なんか自分の。
そうですね。
ま
おいしいものはやっぱりその。
Tasty food?
いえ缶詰を自分で料理することね。普段食べてる自分の腕で食べる。
Things that you can cook and things that you like yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
乾パンとかはもうお腹が空いて仕方がない時我慢して食べますね。
Okay.
And what do we have here in this shelf here?
あと、お皿とか洗わなくていいようにラップを使います。ラップでできるだけ使い捨てします。
So we use like the wrap here to eat from instead of a plate.
Oh,
So
okay.
that when it's finished, you can just throw
Throw
it
it
away.
away, right,
That's
right.
to sort of save for washing up and
あと電池とかろうそ
yeah,
く、
batteries and candles.
Candles.
原始的なものほど強いです。
Okay, something that's going to be strong against a nuclear attack.
I see.
Doesn't, yeah.
Okay.
だから
And we have gas mask here. Is this what it
ガス
is?
マスクですね。
いつ
ちょっと
使う
外に出るとき、少し外が 安全になってから外に出るとき用心しますこれで。
So you use this when you go outside. When it becomes safe outside and you open the door, we just pass through.
I see.
You use this just if you need to race outside for some reason.
And what will this
Oh, wow.
protect you from?
Look at that. It's a full head mask.
What will this protect you from?
これ外に使っても安全ですか？やっぱり時間。
そんなにこう万全ではないけど、
It's
何もないよりは安心。
It's not the best thing you can
I
do,
see.
but yeah, if you have to go
For
outside, it's going to
emergency.
save you
Okay.
in an emergency.
Are there any other things here that are special about this bomb shelter?
Just destroying the place.
これはドアが外がれきでいっぱい塞がれて開かなくなった時これで一応努力します。でダメな時はまた。
This is a jack. So
Oh,
like
jack. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
To
you
open
can't
the
open
door.
the door. Yeah. If there's debris behind the door, we just pass through. Then we can
Okay.
use that as a jack.
I see. And the red flag, is that anything there? The red flag?
これ何に使
これ
います？
危ない時
To wave to somebody
フラ
coming.
グこう危険知らせますこれ。
I see. Okay.
危ない来てはダメ。
Alright.
これはここに入った人たちがルールで決めておきます。こう振った時は危ない、こうした時は大丈夫。
Okay. The red flag
決めておきます。
means it's dangerous.
Got the batteries and everything.
でトイレもここ。
Okay, we got a toilet down here. If you want to
はい
scroll down, look at the toilet.
でこれ一回ずつこれしてここに入れます。
So very easy to maintain that toilet there.
So yeah.
And how many people is this for? How many people can this?
これ何人分使いますか？それ6、8人が入るんでしょ？そのシェルターに。
そうですね。これがまだ予備がありますけど、だいたい13人用でこの大きさです。スイスはこれで13人と決めて。
13 people can use one toilet, but any more is
それなんかもうちょっと人数あれば何の時の何したらいい？
大きいのもあります。
はい
それはもうスイスで決めて、大きいのが欲しかったら大きいの
Ah,
も
the size is
サイズはいろいろあります。
decided by a Swiss standard.
で
okay.
25人用以上になってきたら水洗トイレに。
Okay, so if there's more than 25 people, then they should put some kind of water flushing system in there.
And do they make the flushing system also?
こういうシステムを作ってますか？そういうトイレ。
水洗です。
そう。
ご希望があれば作りますけどもコストがかかります。
Okay,
だ
so
から
yeah, we can make it, but it's actually very expensive.
I see. Okay.
予算をたくさん持ってらっしゃる方はそれでもお金が出せたら
Right? Yeah, if they have the money, they can get the flushing toilet.
Okay. I see.
でここが
Okay, so maybe this thing, dude, the lock, the airlock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another door here. You can see. There's another door.
このドアね。
And now, why is there two doors here?
なぜ2つあるっていう？
ここの部屋はエアロック室なんですね。
Okay,
だ
this
か
is
ら
an airlock.
外の空気がいきなりこう寝起きする部屋に入らないように
Uh-huh.
同時に開けることはありません。向こうを閉めてからここを開ける。
Okay, so never open the same doors, the two doors at the same time.
Only one at a
close that
time.
one first and then open this one to prevent any
そうですね。
dodgy gas going into
I
the
see.
area where you sleep
Okay.
or radioactive.
And this is the same thickness of this door? Is it the same standard as the
このド
other?
アは前のドアと一緒ですか？
同じです。今ここについてるのは同じですけど、本来はもう少し薄いので10センチの厚みので十分なんです。
This one's exactly the same as the front door, but in the future they won't need to make it as.
Okay. We're going to go into the main part of the shelter here where you can sleep. And we're going to close this door. If you look behind, scroll behind, you can see me closing the door. It looks like, it's light enough that one person can close it, as we mentioned before. But the tough part is actually locking it. So here, we're going to shut it like that.
Okay, we're locked in for 2 weeks.
All right. And now I got to secure it. And I got to lock this. If you guys look in front of me. All right.
Kind of takes 2 people. Wow.
There we go. It's tough. And now there's a lower one too. You can see here. There we go. Okay. All right. So this is the shelter. You can look around, guys. Scroll around with your finger. and you can see the space that we're in. Maybe we'll talk about the dimensions of the room. What's the size of this room?
Okay. Yeah, sorry.大きさはどれぐらいこれ？
日本の畳でいうと8畳ですけども、4メーターかける4メーター。
Okay, it's 4 by 4, so 16 square meters.
16
Probably
square
almost 3 meter height. 3 meter ぐらい？
天井は2.5。
2.5.
シェルターは2.5以上ではダメなんです。2.4から2.5まで。
Why? なぜ？
やっぱりその近くに核爆弾が落ちた時の衝撃で揺れますから、その時に大丈夫なような強度計算ができている。
So the height is actually very important. If it's too high and the bomb is dropped close to the shelter, then it's going to affect the
strength of the room.
strength of the room. So it's
Okay.
actually an international standard. それもスイスの。
そうです。もう世界の基準ですね。
Okay, it's kind of an international standard.
So this is 2.5 meter height, and you said 4 by 4.
4 by 4 meters.
4 by 4 meters. So pretty small room.
I guess we can talk
And-
about
And how many people is this built for? Did she say?
何人分です
8
か？
人です。
はい。
8人。
Comfortably 8 people for 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Okay. And the walls. You want to talk about the walls? Yes.
これ壁はどれぐらい分厚さ
50センチ。
50
50センチ。
？50 centimeters. And it's full of Rio bar, of course. 鉄筋もたくさん入ってますね。
そう、たくさん入ってます。
はい
普通よりはたくさん太
はい
い鉄筋が入ります。
A very thick Rio bars,
そう
isn't
です。で、コンクリートも
it?
丈夫なコンクリートです。普
That's
通
a
に使うのではなくて、高速道路の橋を作る。
special concretes use the same concrete standards they use for making the pillars that hold up the highways.
Highways, yeah.
Um,
And I guess we'll talk about, since we're talking about thickness of that, probably good to talk about the blast it can take.
okay.
So yeah, since we're talking about the thickness, what kind of power of a blast could this shelter take?
So どんな爆弾の力はどこまでだか大丈夫ですか？
広島に落ちた核爆弾ありますね。あれが660メートル、1キロも離れてないんですけど、660メートルの地点で爆発しても大きな損傷を受けない、大丈夫なシェルター。
Okay.
それが世界の基準なんです。
Okay, that's also an international standard. If it's similar power as the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. If you were 660 meters away from the actual point where it hits, then you'd be safe.
Okay.
It'd keep its form.
Again, a Swiss standard. It's a
So it's a
Swiss standard.
original Swiss standard, but now it's an international standard for bomb shelters, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the filter. This is a
そうです。なんか
very, very
心臓部っていうんでしたっけ？なんか
そうですね。
そう
これが一番大事なものですね。
This is the most important thing in the shelter. And they consider it the heart of the shelter is the air filter.
Okay.
ここから空気が入ってきて、何か外が放射能で汚染されたり、VX ガスとかサリンとかまかれて、有害なものが外空気いっぱいの時はここを外してここでつなぎますね。でここの中を空気が通ってここから出ます。
So in the event of radioactivity or sarin gas or anthrax, this is the filter that filters the outside air through here. This is the intake. Now you can see it's not connected because we're at peace, hopefully. When that happens, we connect it to this and it's filtered through here and pushing clean air out this end.
Okay. So now it's just taking in the outside
Now
air,
it's
just as a
working
model.
as a exhaust or an input, like a.
What does it filter us from? What can it prevent, like, from coming in here?
Yeah, as I said, like anthrax, VX gases, radioactivity.
Okay.
今世界で知られているすべての毒物。
Yeah, all the well-known
Poisonous
horrible, noxious
gases.
gases and
Okay.
radioactivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything it can't?
できないものがフィルターできないものありますか？
できないものがあったら、一つでもあったらここにいても安全じゃないんで、全部できます。
Okay, yeah, they could do everything. If it didn't, there wouldn't be any point in being.
I see. Okay. All right.
And it's Swiss made, yeah. So it's Swiss のものですね。
スイスです。はい。スイス製です。
So okay, so it's electric. You can see, but 停電の時はどうしたらいい？
No, she said that he just asked her if the power goes out, what happens? Right? You're not going to have power in some cases if a bomb drops. So
And now it's connected.
what do you do?
それ停電の時。
停電の時は手で回します。
はい。Okay.
So she's going to show us.
So yeah, when the electricity goes out, which it probably will.
そこちょっと回していただけます？
Which one?
Okay, can you
そう
you
つ
you
まみを
you can do it
それをちょっと今閉まって、そうですそうです。
Okay, it's closed now, so I've got to open it up. You can see a valve here.
there's a valve.
OK、そのブルーがちょうどのところですね。
When it's hitting the blue spot, it means it's
The-
putting in fresh air.
I see.
So you
Okay.
need to
Scroll a bit to
turn
the left, you can see
as much as.
Miss Oribe is pumping the air. And then you can see there's a little blue sensor there. That means the air is coming in. Clean air is coming in. And you see the air there coming out. So. And how long would this filter last?
このフィルターはどれぐらい使いますか？何週間とか。
はい、これは最悪の状態、条件がものすごく悪い状態で88日間、24時間回したとしても88日間。
So you can use it for 80 days at full power. So you don't need to.
ただ一日中24時間回す必要はありません。
Don't
この
need to.
中の空気がちょっと悪くなってきた、酸素が不足してきた時に10分とか15分回しますので、1日に6時間ぐらい回したとしたらその4倍持つわけですから。
Okay.
Okay.
So if you only turn it on full power for 6 hours a day, it would be 4 times 80, which is 320 days. But yeah, usually you only kind of turn it on or manually turn it on when you feel that the air is getting a bit stale.
Okay. And remember that we mentioned before, she said that this is enough to stay here for 2 weeks, right? So this is more than enough to keep you safe for while you're in danger.
Yeah.
ですからもし火事になった時、外が燃えた時、その時は全部止めます。この中の空気、熱風が入ってきますから、止めるんです。
So if there's fires outside, you'd have to turn this off, otherwise it would bring in the heat and the smoke. それどうやってわかる？外が出てくるじゃないですか。
そうですね。外、大体その周りが焼けてるかどうかっていうのを情報収集しますのでね。で、その時はもうここの中の空気だけでここの8人、
はい、
だから定員は絶対守らないとダメです。10人入ったらそれだけここでじっとできる時間が少なくなります。酸素の量が足りなくなります。
So it's kind of designed the area and size for 8 people. If there was 10 people, you'd have to really conserve oxygen by not moving around too much.
Okay.
And like the fires, which we'll probably see later on, you get the information from a radio that there is fires outside. You'd also notice that the smoke was coming through the filter, so you'd shut it off to not, sort of pollute the shelter with smoke. Swiss no 機械ですね。
そうです。
This is made in Switzerland. なぜスイスのものを使ってます？
そうですね。スイスはもう国がこういうものが安全かどうか、フィルターは放射能が取れてるか、サリンがきれいに除去できてるか、そういう実験を国家としてやってます。
Okay, so the Swiss have been testing or researching these for a long time, and they've got it down to a fine art, I guess, and that's why they use it for. なぜスイスはそんな？
スイスは考え方がはっきりしてて、人類が核爆弾を作った。じゃあそれから身を守るにはどうしたらいいか。そういう発想で物事を考える。
Okay, so Switzerland is thought. それいつからどれ？
昭和でいうと24年ですから。
nearly almost.
昭和50年。
そういう。
1949年ぐらい。
戦争の後。So after the war, the Swiss started to think about protecting their people from nuclear weapons and explosions and noxious gases. So they've been testing this technology for a long time.
And how long is their connection with this bunker technology? How long have they been making it?
This
Yeah.
company?
Yeah.
Yeah, だからその会社は何年前からなんかそういうというか。
1962年、昭和37年ぐらい から
1962年
2年
1962
ね、はいはい、
since the
そのぐ
company.
らいから、フィルターの研究しようと思いました。で、
So it started with the
オリベ
filters.
正規生産
Okay,
そう
so yeah, since that, then they've been experimenting and researching different ways of making shelters and protecting, filtering air. Yeah.
And then it built from that to making bomb shelters.
それ会社の理決心は、そう
初め1905年ぐらい私のひいおじいさん
great grandfather in 1905.
は日本人が着物から洋服に変わるとき、洋服を売りました。とってもよく売れました。で、昭和になってから少し世の中が平和じゃなくなってきましたね。で、会社を作りました。オーリベ正規製作所。で、飛行機の部品作りました。プロペラとかネジとか。
So at first, the grandfather started selling Western style clothes as Japanese were changing to wearing Western style clothes and not wearing kimonos. Then
He became successful.
he became successful in that, but the world got a little bit unsafe with different wars happening. So he's changed his business and made a company that made aeroplane parts like propellers and stuff as Japan started to enter war.
それが私のおじいさんです。
Her grandfather, yeah, right.
で、戦争負けました日本は。飛行機作れなくなりました。
Okay, so after Japan lost the Second World War, they weren't allowed to make airplanes anymore. So
They made fans.
went out, yeah.
And they made
I
diffusion
think
fans.
that's
とても困りましたね。で、プロペラを作る技術があったので、それで風を送る送風機
okay,
を
so
作りました。
they had the technology and the know-how to make propellers or fans, so they changed the direction of the company to make distribution fans, I guess. Yeah.
In what situation would they use the distribution fans?
送風機どこに使います？
大きな倉庫、港とか、海外から荷物が入ってくるところに大きな倉庫があります。その倉庫会社に売りました。で、倉庫会社は倉庫の中の空気を穀物に虫がついてくるので、それを殺すために生酸ガスで虫を殺します。で、それを早く全体に空気が回るように、薬が回るようにかき回すための送風機でした。
それ虫がつくそれ生物ですか？食べ物とか？
穀物でも何でもそうですね。バナナの燻蒸とかそういう時に使いました。
So they made these giant fans that used to distribute or clean the air inside like giant warehouses that were on the docks and that took that held stuff imported from other countries, maybe foodstuffs and things too, which would attract insects. So they used to fumigate the warehouses and then blow these big fans around to distribute the fumigating
ところが
materials.
その虫を殺すのに生酸ガスを使うとても毒物です。でそれが倉庫の中にも入っても安全と思って入るのにところどころ残ってて吸い込んで事故が起こります。でそれでなんとか安全な方法はないかということでフィルターをこうやって空気を安全にしたらそれでフィルターの研究をしようとしたらシェルターになりました。
わかりました。
So after putting the gas in there to fumigate the places, they were finding that there was bits and pieces of poisonous gas left on things, and there was something happening. 一人が死んだって。
作業員の方が亡くなりました。
So one warehouse worker actually died from being poisoned from the fumigating gases.
So they had to make
so
the
they
filters.
turned around and made a filtration system, which was the beginning of their connection to this kind of research. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing history. And in terms of the structures, was that the same time as they created the filters? Did they think about this too, making the structure of the bunker?
そのフィルターを作った時にもその核シェルターも考えてた。シェルター考えてた同時にそれ。
核シェルターですか？いや、そのフィルターを日本でも作ろうと思った時にもっと優秀なものが世界にはあったわけです。もうシェルターの フィルターはもう完璧なものでした。
あー
でそれよりも世界はシェルターを備えてるじゃないか、準備してる。日本はそういうもう戦争のことは忘れたりで何も考えませんでした。でも戦争に勝った国とかアメリカキューバ危機とかがあってそういうことを国を守るということをみんな考えてました。日本は考えてない。これはいけないと思ってシェルターを日本にも必要だと思いました。
So after Japan lost the war, they wanted to kind of forget about the war. Whereas she's saying other countries who won wars, it's starting to move into the Cold War era with the threat of nuclear weapons. Were starting to think about protecting themselves. Where Japan, for a long time, and still now even, just wanted to forget about it, so they didn't. So when it's shelter 作ろうと思ってたんですか？シェルターいつ作ろうと思ってた？どれぐらい？
ですから作ろうというよりも、シェルターで放射能が防げるということをみんなに知ってほしかったんですね。で、昭和42年ですから。
42年
1967年ぐらいですかね。
50 years ago.
そのぐらいに本を書いて放射能が防げると。
本は誰か書いた？それ。
私の父が書きました。
Her father wrote the manual on protecting the population of Japan from a nuclear attack.
Oh wow.
So they wanted to tell everyone.
シェルターを始めたのも父です。私の父でした。
Her father made the first shelter. So that was about 50 years ago. Was their first idea.
でも日本はなかなか核とかその放射能っていうことだけでもダメでしたね。とてもアレルギー、核アレルギーがありました。No.
People kind of swept it under the carpet. I guess didn't want to talk about nuclear
because it was such
they were affected
by the history, right? Japan's history.
But I guess now they're starting to think about it again. North Korea's in the background.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll talk about that. Like, speaking of North Korea, has that affected your sales? Are more people interested in ODB industry?
最近北朝鮮がちょっとうるさくなってるから、それ営業に対して商売に出てそれ役に立ってますか？
そうですね。それ以来日本人も危ない世の中には危ないことがあるということが分かってきて、みんなその恐怖を感じますね。平和だけではないということが分かってきて、備えて自分で準備しなければならないということを考えるようになってきました。
So yeah, the population started to change the way they think now. Like it is a real threat. So not like before where they wanted to sweep it under the carpet. They're kind of starting to think that maybe they need protection. So yeah, it has had an effect on their sales and business.
Okay. Maybe we'll talk about some other things in this room.
Okay,
we'll move to that. Let's talk. There's something over here. The radio was quite interesting. This box here. Okay, let's talk about this box down here. This is quite an interesting thing. If you guys scroll down, look down here, swipe down, you can see this box here. What is this box?
この箱には鉛、EMP を防ぐために鉛を貼ってます。で、外部の情報を得るためにトランジスタラジオとかトランシーバーとかたくさんありますけども、核爆発の電磁パルスで機器が全部壊れますので、こういう箱で保管しておきます。で、いっぺんに全部出してはダメです。一個ずつ出すようにします。
Okay, so this box here is, you can see it's a super heavy,
Lead.
and that's lead, a lead lining, because in case of EMP pulses, electromagnetic pulse attack. That was something that North Korea did threaten to do. They would send an electromagnetic pulse to knock out all the electronic equipment. So if you put it in this box, it's safe in there. And she mentioned that if you do take something out, take only one at a time in case there is an attack, an EMP attack. While you won't knock everything out, it'll only knock out the device that's actually in your hand. So there's several radio transmitters in there to keep you protected from the EMP pulses. That's quite interesting.
ですからこれも
Hand charged.
And charge torch.
Okay. And we have games here. Is there a reason for games?
Monopoly. Is that Japanese Monopoly?
I guess it would keep you busy while you're waiting.
It's like an old version.
Something to keep you busy while you're waiting down here, right? Because you can't watch TV or, right?
It's the same. Is it community chess? Yeah, boardwalk. All written in Japanese on there.
2週間の間、もう命が安全だったらどう楽しく過ごすかです
Oh
ね。
yeah, it's good to be safe down here, but it's good to think about what you do for fun.
Yeah, I guess you need entertainment in a place like this too.
I hope you're with friends.
ジャパニーズトランプ。
Ah, Japanese Trump, yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? Not to use this sticky.
100人一首。
Japanese.
Japanese shoe, yeah. Okay.
And you have a Geiger counter. Is that
Ah, so what's
the
that?
Geiger counter there? And these devices here, what are
これ
those?
はちょっと外に出るとき、自分の被爆線量を測ります。
So it'll measure the radioactivity that you've been exposed to on yourself when you go outside.
How does it measure it? How does it display the level of radioactivity?
そっちに接続してですね、それで、
はい、これで自分が行ってきたのを、あとこれで。
so connected to the Geiger counter, it'll show how
I see.
much you've been exposed to.
Okay.
So I guess これは
Cooker, burner.
これガスで。
電気なくなるときに、
なくなる
so when electricity gets shut down, you can use this I guess, yeah.
And you want matches, of course.
Yeah. Ah, match も必要な。
キャンプの時によくね。
Yes. You use it when we go camping too.
And the bedding is for 6 people here. But she mentioned that more than 6 people can stay here. Was it 10? Junin made?
8人。
8 people can stay here comfortably. So, and maybe we can talk about that. So this room here is pretty small, but other customers make rooms, but you can customize the size of the room here, right?
会社がなんかこれ6、8人ぐらいが泊まれるでしょ。でも会社も他の大きいの作ってます。この招待より。
ちょっとそれはないですね。これは8人ですけど、それぞれ避難する場所っていうのは日本には転用できるビルがたくさんありますね。しっかりしたビル。でそういうところに避難する。ここに入れるのは8人だけど、8人の分は他にはないんです。
会社ももっと大きいの作ったことあるんですか？
会社の所有はないんです。よその会社のは作ったことあります。
Other companies are making bigger shelters, but not so many. Most people would go to strong structures, strong buildings to evacuate. But yeah, okay.
Have they made bigger shelters? Is that?
No, she's saying.
Okay. All
I
right.
think it was other companies what she was. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's
ほ
see.
とんどこの大きさを作りますか？
いえ、もっと大きいのもたくさん作ります。
Okay.
400人用もありますし。
作ったことある？
あります。
So okay, the company has made one big enough for 400 people.
Wow, 400 people.
100人用も
100 people.
作ったことあります。
How do those ones differ from this?
これその大きいのシェルターはここと何が違う？
この部屋の大きさともちろん食料もたくさん備蓄しますから、そこも広い、ここも広い、大勢がね泊まりますから。
More beds and bigger, obviously.
空気清浄、この換気装置も大きいものを使います。大きな部屋を換気できる能力のある。
So the filter has to be way bigger than this one.
So it's just the same thing, but just on a bigger scale. There's
大体同じもんけどもっと大きい。
そうです。
Yes, it's
nothing else extra, nothing
で
different.
すから100人入るための部屋には100人用のこういう空気清浄機があります、換気装置で200人用300人用いくらでも大きいで大きくなると、300人用を3つ並べてそれで換気するとかそういういろいろ大きさはたくさんできます。
So everything changes with the amount of people. Obviously, if there's 100 people, 300 people, they have to put bigger filters in and more bedding. Yeah, pretty common sense stuff.
There will be no lighting in a real situation, right?
事実になったらだから停電になる可能性が。
停電になります。
Yeah, so it'll definitely be a blackout.
ロマンチックに。
romantic. She said romantic lighting for the in a real scenario.
音楽ないな。No music.
Some wine and cheese too.
あ、ラジオ、yeah, okay, they will have a radio.
Yeah, that's right.
自分で歌うとか。
ロマンスできるかな。
Sing. She said sing your own songs too. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we should show this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's
Sure.
go back to the.
それは
Okay.
空気をどんどん入れますとこの中の圧力が高くなります。でそこから自然に自動的に逃すように。
So it's totally airlocked. You can see this releases pressure from the air when they turn on the filter, which pumps. It's obviously going to get high pressure in this room.
And to relieve the pressure that opens up. So these are totally airtight, right? We
Yeah.
made it airtight when we closed it
And waterproof.
and waterproofed.
ここの空気が隣の部屋に行きます。で空気はこちらから向こうへ流れますからトイレの匂いとかはこっちに来ないように。
Ah, okay. So it's a one-way valve, as you probably saw from the flaps bringing that way. So it can't come back in, and the toilet, is on the other side of the wall, so the smells from the toilet or the garbage also can't come back into the room. It closes as soon as the pressure.
What would happen in the case of the doors being blocked by debris?
Okay, so this is the escape hatch. これなんでこれ出るときにどっちが使うと決める？
それはもし上の建物が全部壊れた時、
okay.
壊れた時、向こうのドアは外開きですね。戸が開かなくなります。
If the door that we went through on the way in was if the house above it had collapsed from the explosion, there it would probably block the exit up the stairs that we came down in the first place.
So we would come out here.
Is a escape hatch in that case, which is a heavy big door you can see.
And how thick is this door? The same thickness?
これなんか前のドアと同じもんですか？
同じです。20センチありま
It's
す。
the same. Yeah, 20 centimeters.
外に接してますから、
はい。
頑丈な分厚いものを取り付けます。
Okay, yeah,
And
so
it's-
it's super strong.
And it's got these three. It looks like 3 bolts in it, right? Is that right?
コンクリート。
これはコンクリートを流す時のこの
Ah, okay, yeah,
Ah, I
this is
see.
where they've pumped the concrete
そう
into
こ
the.
こから入れますね。
まあ、鉄筋が多いからな。
そう。
That's where they pump. Yeah, there's lots and lots of Rio in there, so they need to kind of pump it in when they build it.
So in a nuclear attack, this would protect us, and also in a tsunami too, right? All right, so this room will protect you from a nuclear attack, but will it protect you from anything else?
他の災害にもなんか守ってくれませんかこの部屋。
そうですね。密閉してますので津波が来ても水が中に入ることはありません。
Okay, so this is completely watertight. So if you're hit by a tsunami as well, it's no water's going to get in.
And the water would collect from outside the door, so what would happen in that case?
これでも水いっぱいに入ってしまうんじゃないですか？
そうですね。津波はもう地上はすぐ引きます。なくなったらこの中に入ってる水だけです。であと階段のところに溜まった水だけです。でドアを開けたとしてもこの膝より上に来ることがない量で計算できてます。
So it's actually it's only the tsunami will retreat and what's left in this hold will be in there. So you have to deal with that when you open the door. That's going to come in, but they've actually calculated the size of this area and the size of the area on the front door as well. Should you open the front door or this door, and it's only going to come up as high under your knee level.
So you're safe with the water that gathers.
Yeah,
there.
it's not going to drown you when you open the door.
でこの中も水が引くようにあそこに小さい石が引いてあります。そこから水が地下に染みていくように。
Okay, so there is inside this cavity, which is the escape hatch. There's also a small drain in there, which would let water seep into the ground.
Okay. All right.
So それ結構ここから長いその意味ありますか？ So it's quite long this tunnel until you go up.
これは地上の建物の高さの地上の建物が崩れ落ちた時に高さの半分2分の1の広さの場所へ瓦礫が 散らばります。それより外に出るように設計されてます。
Okay.
So the house, if it's destroyed by whatever it is, a tsunami or a bomb, there's a chance of it covering twice the area of its original. If it was 10 square meters, it could cover 20 square meters.
Yeah.
So this length is to get you out past
The debris.
the debris that could be like sitting on top of the hatch, which wouldn't allow you to escape. Which...
How deep are we? How deep is this room?
今の深さはどれぐらい？その
この
地面から
地下ですか、だいたい4メーターぐらい掘って、で上に土を60センチぐらい
これ天井が60センチ。
天井の厚さもここは50センチあります。その上に土が乗るように
土が
普通は。だけどここは建物がありますから、建物が遮蔽力になります。放射能を防ぎます。
This is the roof also is 50 centimeters. 50 centimeters.
50センチ。
Yeah, 50 centimeters thick. On top of that, there's dirt, and then on top of that, there's a house. If your house is on top of the shelter, then you have a much. It also guards the shelter from whatever's coming.
So ideally you build a shelter under the house to protect you even more.
一番安全なのは家の下に作った方がいい。
そうです。はい。そのだいたい家の建物の下に作るのがだいたいが基準ですね。
Okay, that's an international standard of building it.
But they do have shelters that they build with no houses on top. Is that
そ
correct?
の場合もありますか？なんかちょっと離れてるところを作ってくれるありますか？
ありますあります。もう建物があって、庭にしか作れないときは庭に作ります。
Okay, so it's better to build it when you build the house. There's cases where houses are obviously already built and people want them, but to dig under and destroy the foundation, it's a nightmare. So they do build them.
I see.
But it's safer under a house or a standing structure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else is there?
The exercise machine.
Yeah, we could talk about that. I don't know. Maybe I should just go through there. We'll walk.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let me walk through here. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna walk through the exit hatch here.
頭気をつけて。
Okay, all right, and
Hit.
we'll give you a shot of what it looks like.
外に行ってきますね。
This is pretty tough to get in here. How am I gonna get in here? I gotta crawl. There's a small ladder here. You guys can see. This is the exit here. So if you really need to, you can break through there. That's the exit. Right now they didn't open it for us, but yeah, an emergency situation, obviously. Just break through. Very small ladder here. Yeah. Can I get through? Okay, I thought I couldn't come out. Here, let me do it again. Okay, we're gonna go inside here. And we're gonna crawl out. Okay. Here we go. Can I just push? Push it out. All right. Finally coming out after 2 weeks. Okay. Here we go. All right. I'm going to get out of here.
Hey, it was only a joke.
It was a joke. All right. I'm not going to crawl out of here, right? Am I or not? I need somebody to hold the camera if I'm probably going to do it. So
Okay. You want me to hold it?
Sure.
I'll just take it with this.
sure.
Just face it
Should
like
I
that
actually
way.
crawl out of here?
Yeah, do it, man. You gotta do it.
元に戻した方が良くないですか？出てくる？ここから出ますか？
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll do it from here.
Okay.
I should probably take my jacket.
Here he goes. The hardest bit. Not getting in there, it's getting out.
This is the real thing, baby. Woo. Alright.
靴履いてスリッパ脱げたのね。
Okay. Okay.
あいや、そのまま履いてきた方がいい。スリッパ履いてないと足痛
Okay.
い
Okay.
で
Okay.
ね。
Okay.
There's his,
痛いで
oh, he's coming out the other side. And he gets bitten by a snake. Well, survivor.
All right. Okay.
That's on the wrong side.
All right. I guess we'll end it there. Wrap it up there.
Yeah, that's about it, eh?
Okay. All right. I'll just stand. All right. Well, that's it. All right. Well, I would like to thank Miss Oribe for giving us this great tour. Amazing place. This is Dave in Osaka. I'm in Osaka, Japan, and we're here visiting the Oribe Industries. They're nuclear bomb shelter makers. Thanks for them for taking us on this great tour. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This is Dave in Osaka coming from the Essential 360 camera. Signing out.